No, that's okay. Here, look. Wait.
Oh yeah, we're gonna go now. Okay.
There, okay, go.
Tell me something good.
That's all good. Hey, boss.
Hi.
Rich.
So on ALC, we decided that this first month, well, in January, we're gonna read Atomic Habits. And for those of you that don't know, I vaped for a long time and I quit a few weeks ago. So, like cold turkey, Monday night, I was reading it. This is a few weeks ago. Monday night, I was reading it. It got to the part about food slogan. I was like, oh yeah, I quit cigarettes a long time ago. Why am I doing this? And the next day I threw them out. That was it.
The funny part is we're reading them. ALC's reading it together, so I'll read it to you, and then it says kick your bad habits, and one of the examples was quitting smoking. And I'm like, oh, this should be this. I quit maybe. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You were like, I was not a smoker. It's like.
So one of the things says you don't. I'm not. I'm trying to stop smoking. You say I am not a smoker because you bring the doing.
The good news that week that I was really mad, nobody seemed to notice a change, so. I felt something good. I know there's more good out there. This spring, that's good.
Okay, so I do have a home that's for sale in my farm area, and my client is very happy with my service, even though we haven't gotten it up yet. But he was so happy that a house further down has to sell their home because the owner died, and she gave the daughter who was in from Connecticut my card, and so now I have another listing.
That's very apropos to our current situation. We're talking about white glove experiences, and we have this here. Talk about how you can get those referrals and work your farms, right? All right, anyone else? Something good?
I was really great, brand new realtor to make some of the contact or to tell them I'm a realtor, but I just dialed the number and started calling. I contacted one of my old bosses that's he's a pretty good source of influence, and it was fine, and he was really happy that I had, made the change, and my fear was just gone.
Getting over that fear is one of the main hurdles you have to get good.
So we have a new colleague on our team, Kevin. Yeah, but I can tell you that Kevin takes some good at man. So Sunday, I had a client from out of town. We spent 6 hours touring? Yeah, it was like 6 hours. Exploring Sacramento. That's just a Sunday. And then Monday, he was shadowing me, and I got in at 10, like 15. Kevin wasn't there first. We didn't end our day till 8? 8:30. That's it. He spent the first day 16 hours next to me, just shadowing me, and I'm like, he's good. He's good.
Look forward to your success. Anyone else? That's looking good.
So, I like to you guys have seen that, right? I got invited to speak to some disadvantaged youth about building wealth through real estate and real estate investing. So as you guys are you hear me talk about how passionate I am about this stuff all the time, but it's nice to be able to take that to new generations and do all these things. So that was a big personal step up professionally for me to be able to carry that message on. So it's awesome.
I want to share. We started on the ALC Career Development Committee, or we call it the club. We're going to call it the club. But the club, and it's really just a high accountability group, and we had about 13 agents who want to be part of this high accountability group, and I'm super excited that we're doing a bunch of stuff to pour into them, but we're saying if you want high accountability, you want to have success in 2023, we will whip you into it. We have to say.
We are still accepting applications, and great news, Myola is joining as well, so that's cool.
So if you want to, that's still open, but by default. By default. She was balling cold. So. All right, we're going back to our values of God, family, business. We're going to talk about, we did win-win last time, but we're going to talk about integrity, do the right thing. So I'm looking for people who say integrity, do the right thing. That example. Anyone have examples in their business of integrity to do the right thing?
None of us.
Right?
Tell me if I'm answering question right, but I had smarter than this, and that's what I was training Kevin. I had somebody calling, they're reaching out to me, and the conversation seemed like there was a disconnect, and it sounded like he said he submitted an offer. Yes, you know, a lot of times it's like, well, if he doesn't even know the agent. Reading. I'm very big on like, I have to do karma, I believe I do the right things, I want to do it myself. So I said, hey, I'll call you back, or I'll call you tomorrow, maybe just reach out, like with this disconnect. Ended up finding out he was represented by the agent submitted an offer, and the agent was like, hey, you know, like, I'm like, listen. I told your client that I was gonna get back to him because it sounded like you were represented, so we just find who you were. And we did, we're very ethical, so already part of the client, I was not trying to send this client, I was just trying to see who am I gonna match with this person.
So one of those things, I see that all the time where open house is happening, you're doing the open house and the agent. And another buyer walks in and say, oh, we have an agent, here's our card, and I still see that listing agent just pounce on them, trying to get them as a client, right? And I say, hey, this is a small, despite the office size and all the agents you see, this is, if you have a long time in this, you're gonna realize it's a small world on the real estate side. And if you're in this long time, you're gonna get to know everybody. And the only thing in the end you really have is your reputation and how you conduct business. And so I just want careful on that. The reason CAR has ethical guidelines and SAR enforces them and all this stuff is because treat people with integrity. And honestly, if you treat people with integrity in your business, that's the most important.
And I'll just piggyback on that. There are agents in this community here, not in the community in this office, but in the Thomas area community that I encountered 20 years ago. That to this day, I can rattle off their names and I consider them some of the biggest scumbags in the industry. So. I may not be able to remember what I had for dinner last night. I can remember each and every one of those people.
And I can tell you, it's true, like, if you've been along this business, there's certain agents I don't tell anybody, but these are on blacklist, and if I have a client and I get an offer from, I have multiple offers, I go, they may be the highest offer, just know, but this is my experience with them, this is my reputation, I do not recommend we accept this offer, I recommend we go with other offers, you're gonna have a better buyer experience on this and less hassle, right? So, yeah.
I wanted to piggyback on that too, and
Speak up.
for those of us that wanna stay on it for a long time, it's really important. I just met with a client yesterday that her uncle's aunt and uncle bought like 10 years ago from me. And then she was introduced to me back soon after that, went with somebody else. And just came back to me yesterday because that other did something that was supposed to happen, and she ended up losing a lot, and now she's ready to buy again, and so it is like so many years. I kept in touch with the uncle's aunt and but not with them. Yeah. I thought it was somebody else's
Even
client.
our team, and we do a lot of open houses, and day-to-day work, you don't know how many times you can send an open house, and they say, I have an agent, but they have something that they want to complain about the agent. It's usually a lack of integrity in some offices, and they want to switch, right? And so, just so you know, integrity is one of the biggest things you have to maintain in this business to have longevity. I want to take this one step further. I take integrity very personally. It's one of my core values as a person. And I say the number one person you can lie to and not be in integrity with is yourself. With yourself. So if you want a highly successful business, be careful what you say yes to. Be careful, honor the things. If you say, yes, I'm going to do that, honor that, right? The minute you start lying to yourself is when that negative self-talk comes up. Those things, you start going down a road that's not healthy. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate you participating. TCPA, Bruce makes me put this in there. Tell spam people, we heard there was a recent settlement in the multi-million dollar.
$40 million.
$40 million at the national level for KW.
Who pays that? I mean, is it just the agent or the broker or?
Well, usually when they'll sue the agent, the broker. Portland. Started the club.
Cody.
Cody. But please, you don't need to spam people to get business. All you have to do is lead you, right?
And think about how much you ate it every time, 4 or 5 times a day, with those spam calls coming your way.
If you really want to be that person, don't be that. Okay, welcome to the family. We have some new agents joining us. Talicia, I don't know if she's here.
She's
Well,
probably out
welcome to the-
closing more deals.
What?
She's probably out closing more deals.
Talicia comes from Redfin. She last year closed many deals and she didn't get paid a whole bunch. And she was not happy about that. And I said, why don't you just close half those deals and you get double the pay? So she has moved over and she is already on her second closing coming up. She just started beginning of January. So congratulations to Lisa. She is working hard. If you see her, she's an awesome person. Christina.
She's on Zoom.
Oh, she's on Zoom.
There she is.
Welcome, Christina. How about yourself? Tell us about yourself.
How's it going? I'm really new agent. I'm excited to be here. I come from over 25 years in the facilities and maintenance industry, so this is all new for me, but I'm learning and I'm loving what I'm doing so far. So thank you for the opportunity.
Woo.
Thank you, Christina. And Christina, like you said, comes from commercial property management. So if you have you need some insight on any of those things, please talk to Christina. She can help you at a high level.
I'd love that.
And
Thank you.
Christina came through our CART system, our training system all the way through. So welcome, Christina. Congratulations on your first transaction closing. We're honest to be with you. Mayella, congratulations on your first.
Reclosing.
Reclosing. She is killing it at a high level.
Making some money now.
She's making some real money now, so.
I did that.
Just closed. We have our just closed. Congratulations, Rich Gibbons.
Woo!
Listed 5, eternity, 4 transactions. Farmhouse 300 Applicant is down, all one, congratulations, everyone closes. Richie Rich. Richie Rich.
Richie Rich.
We're seeing some changing of the guard here. Picture listings, what you got?
You don't have to wait for the music to be over.
Anyone got any listings?
So we're in contract now, I don't know. Anyways, we have a house over in Twin Farm. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, about 408 square feet, listed at $395. And you get this in contract, they are in their replacement property and want a time loan. So if anybody's looking for under 400,000, newer HVAC, cast solar panels, the roof is newer. VA owner, so the house is limited on dry rot and good condition, it really just needs like some paint and.
Foothill Farms, $395. I mean,
$395, guys, bring me a buyer, please.
Thank you, Jose.
anyone else? Picture listing, Dexter.
Yes, I said it last time, but we have a 2-bedroom, 2-bath here in South Thomas and River City Commons, which is a great neighborhood. Live there.
It's a friend home.
It's a string home, mid-century modern, and it has a private park with 2 pools, 2 tennis courts, pickleball, which I'm getting really good at.
I think we should have an office pickleball.
Hey, you know, I would like to do that, maybe one Saturday and Sunday invites, people over and we can do pickleball. Other people are inviting friends over. So, hey,
I can see agents getting injured and. Pretty awesome.
It's a great sport, but anyway, it's listed for $430 and the homeowners association is only $87. So can't beat that.
Anyone else? Picture listings. More listings out there, people. Compliance burner. That's good.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Bruce.
Okay, so. Let me just bring up. Then I want to bring up. The pet peeve will come at the end. First, I want to make sure, I know, there's a lot of newer agents that come in and join our family. And it may not be obvious, so I wanted to point it out. Our real estate sales office, with the exception of some teams that are run by brokers who are legally allowed to do this under their own name, our teams are not permitted to do any sort of property management, residential property management, commercial property management. That is off the table, period. I only bring it up because it came up recently with one of our agents who was out renting out a property. And so the reason we don't do property management is because there are so many complications that can come up with regard to management of trust accounts. And the person that loses their license for a trust account violation is me. So our E&O doesn't even cover property management. So just stay away from that thing. And again, you can do it if you are a broker and you have your own separate property management company that is not under the KW umbrella. Two, which kind of goes in line with that a little bit, except it's for residential sales. Many of you have probably noticed that the last couple versions of the residential purchase contract, the default for how the EMV is handled is listed now as the buyer will deliver that money to the escrow company. It doesn't say anything about the agent delivering. It doesn't say anything about you collecting the buyer's check and handing that check to a courier to take it. The point is, buyer can either deliver cashier's check or buyer preferably can have the funds wired to the escrow company once you go under contract. You do not want to be the middle person handling a buyer's check, because then that brings into play DRE requirements that we store those checks in a safe place until they're delivered, and maintain a check log, which we don't do.
And we won't store it, so.
Yeah, and if it's not stored, then we're in violation and you're in violation.
And your wallet's not the storage.
Yeah. Also, typical scenario, you're representing a buyer, you get into contract, and you get it all arranged, the buyer gets arranged for a home inspector to come inspect the house. So you meet the home inspector out there at the designated time, you access the Supra, you unlock the door, and what happens on occasion is the agent hands the home inspector the cup for the Supra with the key in it and says, just make sure you lock up before you leave. That is not okay. Okay? When you go out there and you open that door for the home inspector, in the absence of the listing agent, after a consultation with their seller giving you permission to just let the home inspector do their thing and you leave and they can lock up, in the absence of that happening, you must stay at that home for the entire home inspection and then lock it up before you leave.
So if you want to leave, you need to get it in writing.
Yeah, I would get it in writing in the form of an email from the listing.
Perfect.
Oh, so we have an inspection. So we have an inspection and there's an inspector. And we either A, have to say to the whole entire time when we're done, or B, get in writing that we're able to step away.
Yeah. And then the last one, and this is my pet peeve, guys. You guys are in the service industry. And part of being in the service industry means that when a customer or your broker of record calls you and has to leave a voicemail message, your voicemail box should not be full. Hey, if your voicemail box is full and you do not get the message from a client, That might be a $5,000 to $15,000 phone call in this area that you missed out. So please be aware, you're in the service industry. You gotta be able to get the calls or at least allow somebody to leave a message. And you know, and I don't often call many of you unless there's a problem that I need to talk to you about or if I'm returning a call. So when I'm calling you, it's usually something important. I'd like to be able to get it, or at least leave a message. So please focus on that.
Thank you, Rich.
That was the technique.
I say when I call and I talk to agents and their voicemails, generally their production level coincides with how much, whether their voicemail is full or not, so. Calling back is one of the honestly, when people complain about real estate agents, the number one thing, the number one thing they complain about, lack of communication. Number one thing.
And just that side of maybe guys and how important it is to be able to get your messages. I told John this a few days ago. When I first was selling real estate in Sacramento, when we moved out here, we had AT&T as our mobile phone provider. And my biggest competitors at that time out here were Holly and Brickman. And I'll be damned if client didn't finally pull the trigger. They called me and said, Bruce, we're ready to go, you know, come and get us, list our house. And I didn't get that voicemail message through AT&T for a week. Wasn't my box was full, it's just the message never got to me for a week. And by the time I got the message, they had already listened to it. And that was at that time, that was probably $12,000 or $13,000 commission. But it was a very costly miss, and I immediately changed to Verizon Wireless.
That's why I have Verizon, Bruce. I don't have drop calls, and I get my voicemail.
Yeah.
That's at least,
Yeah.
You hear
She
that, guys?
complained that she was like, I don't get calls in the office. And I said, you gotta get right.
Gotta get right.
It's safe. You get it in your bag. You just what?
Well, before I did. Mark Center, save the dates. We got some stuff coming up tomorrow. Headshots mini session. Some of you need new headshots.
Some of you don't.
Okay.
Use one.
I got it. You'll see new headshots. So, in my head, it's more young too.
Maybe I tell him that.
But scan that if you want headshots. Jamie's coming in 10 to 3 o'clock. Great, you'll get 5 headshots too.
And don't do the one with the phone at the side.
But what about the one with the pin in?
What's that Sherry?
That's it. Hi, this is awesome. Sherry, if you get clients without cold calling, this is really about your database and how she does. She's sold over 100 homes as an agent. She's coming in person to do our training. So please mark that down for Wednesday, February 15th, 11 to 2.
Also a YouTube class, right?
That is, yeah.
Yeah, so it's really that she made $55,000 off of YouTube last year.
There's prep work involved, so please check the calendar on that. You need to do some prep work. Yeah, legit.
You'll see, and you'll be like,
It's not about the production.
Nope.
I'm doing this because she just and interviews them and rudimentary editing. I was blown away, and she monetized it, and now she's earning income off of it. And I think that all of us can do this.
And we just do look really sharp.
No, I'm interested.
So I'll be at this class.
So you should be at this class. If you are not in the 201 club, you should be at this.
What is that?
What?
Where's Ben? What even is
Vince,
that?
we are paying.
Vince?
Ben?
Okay. We have. In agents that have 201 contacts, more than 201 contacts in command, and does a 36 touch program on those contacts, has an excess on average of $100,000 in income.
What?
Just-
National average.
That's the national average. So how come you'll get more because that's the national average. So I just want to note it. Rich, we implement on this team. Do we get massive amount of text messages and things from our?
Wow.
I'm doing an interview with a particular person on the JDRG team today, so look for that video on our YouTube channel.
Literally, we implemented it. It will auto text clients, auto email, and trust me, it works. It's not like spam. They're actually talking with us. In fact, it's so heavy. Mine is so heavy. Like Taylor's responding as me because I can't keep up. That's how much.
I'm doing my lead gen from 9 to 12 and my texts are going off dramatically. And we even have one where I sold, I think 2019 in Fairfield, and they're ready to list.
Off of us, auto text.
Often auto text. I know some of you have gotten this one from me recently. Appreciate being in business with you.
Yep.
That's my 36 touch for you guys.
That's him auto texting you that. So you can have good auto text. We designed literally, the plan that we implemented is literally the JDRG, what we sent to our clients. So it's not like we are getting tremendous results from it. Agents that have done it, we're getting tremendous results with it, but you gotta put your database in, get all the information in there and put them on this plan. Vince Slade, we have literally smart plan, the smart plan will text and email them every month. It will give them a text and email for every holiday. Send them a graphic that says Happy Valentine's Day. It will also text and email them and invite them to our agent events. So if we shred an e-waste day and trunk or treat, it's automatically going to text and invite them for you. And it's even going to put tasks in your command to put to call. These are the people. So it's call quarterly. It says these are the people to call.
The only thing you have to do is make 4 phone calls a year.
To each.
You don't have to text, you don't have to email, you don't have to remember, you don't have to think of it. Just
So-
make your 4 phone calls.
So if you want $100,000 or more dollars, you just have to have 200 or more people in your phone, and you gotta sync it to our database, and then Vince will show you how to put the smart plans on them.
I will help you sync it too.
I
was just
if
gonna
you
say,
did
we'll
nothing-
help you put the contact in
Yeah.
too, if you don't already have them in, Vince or I can help you get them into
And
your.
then all you do is you log into your command in the morning, and you see the tasks will be in there, who to call, and you make those calls.
I'll even show you how to call from your command mobile devices.
Oh, thanks,
Just sit
Vince.
there and call, and you will have more than $100,000, I guarantee you. Is that okay?
That's an easy button.
Guarantee, yeah.
What's that called?
Easy button?
Easy button. Two. Yeah.
So Vince has a mission to get everyone on this because
Doing your job.
I told Vince I'm gonna beat every agent in this office if they don't have it. But we got-
That's aggressive.
I'm gonna bring, I'm gonna get us, I'm gonna get us, I'm gonna come around and say, stop. Team Career Fair is happening
2:30 to 3:30
2:30 to 3:30 on Tuesday.
or
The
2 to
teams
3:30.
will be here, we'll be having a mixer. If you're an individual agent and you think maybe a team is a good effort, like Kevin did, right? It's a good thing. I'm thinking about doing, come meet the teams. We'll talk about team structures, what teams expect, and you get to meet the teams there and help do that. Yeah.
Yvonne is also hosting that as far as the refreshments and stuff. So our lovely Yvonne will be here with refreshments and things for you guys.
And then finally, Paul Boudier is coming down. If you don't know Paul, he's a longtime successful agent. He's coming down to sell HUD homes. If you don't know what HUD homes, those are government-owned homes. That means they had an FHA loan, they got foreclosed on, and the government paid them off and took the home, and now they're selling them. Bruce might know that way back in the good old days.
So
Big week next week.
When is that?
Thursday.
11 to 12.
Thursday, 11, 12.
Yep,
Which Thursday?
next Thursday.
We're working on that.
This is next week.
We're close to President's Day.
Yep.
But you should know if you have kids, because the kids will be in school. So, the color of the state amethyst.
Mhm. All of this stuff can be found on the hub as well.
Amethyst is our new chair of our diversity and inclusion. ALC committee.
Yes, so this year I've decided to be the chair for the Diversity, Equity and Inclusion Committee. And something that last year at Family Reunion that I didn't know about is that there's sub-communities in Keller Williams. So I joined the Rainbow Network, that's one of the 7. So I don't know if you guys even know that these exist. There is the Coalition of Hispanics for Progressive Action. There's Hispanic Leaders of Real Estate. There's the Pan Asian Network. There's a KW Black Business Associates Group and Lady Leaders of Real Estate Group. And then a KW Signs Group for American Sign Language.
That's cool.
So there's all these different sub-communities that you might not even know exist. So come join my committee, learn more about the sub-communities. And our first event is going to be Wednesday, the 22nd in this room. We're going to make it's a class. It's the color of real estate class, but we're also going to maybe meet after so we can discuss what we want to do with the committee. And then the second one will be the 7th, and that's unconscious bias from 12 to 1:30 in this room as well. And both of those will be free. Anybody can attend. And then if you choose to, there is a agent of distinction certification program that you can pay to do. And if anybody wants to do it with me, we could do it together in this room. So
I love
please join my committee. We have a great culture here, and I think that we can do some good stuff this year.
And all of those stuff. I believe all of those subcommittees were started by agents within Keller Williams, so it wasn't that they had to go through corporate, so if there's.
Awesome.
You if there's a cultural group that you would like to put together, you can just.
Yeah, all these agents started and they just kind of came and said, okay, would you like to be part of the community?
Yeah, they got a bunch of following and
Yeah.
it built it up big enough, like Lady Leaders was
Yeah.
started by Rachel Adams Lee in Roseville.
Well, and reach out to me if you want to know how to join one of those groups, because there's links available and there's like Facebook groups and they do meetings weekly and
Mhm.
all of
I
that.
want to know that courses are really good as well. Trust me, most of the discrimination and other things we see in real estate. It's not overt. It's people that are just unbiased about how they're showing up to people or saying certain things and offending people that they don't realize are offending, right? So this will really help you get it. I don't know if you look at this room, if you look at Natomas and Sacramento, it's a diverse community. The more knowledge you have about those diversities, the better your business is.
Yep.
So, till death or divorce do us part. Casey Clay's presenting that. Please, if you want to know how to handle those, what are the legal
Probate.
processes? Dates?
That's gonna be the last week in February after family reunion. So that's Thursday, the 20.
There you go.
There you go, 11 to 12. Most of these are 11 to 12, you guys trying to keep it that same time.
Family Life Balance is Thursday, March 2nd, 1 to 2 p.m. Alicia Simpkins, we said Alicia Pinter class yesterday. She is also in Gary's top 100. She is in Chico as well. There's two of them.
They'll both be on the big stage at family reunion.
Be on stage, she's coming here. Life, Family Life Balance. We'll talk about how she built an empire while everything else was falling apart, and also how to build an empire without having her kids hate her.
Yeah.
So,
Jose,
Jose,
I was fortunate to have her on my last bowl. She was my partner. And oh yeah, like her dedication to her family and her husband. She told me her story of what happened. It's like to be all people in sales, it goes for her because you did business first. It's obviously I love that Keller Williams, Scott family work. Whereas we tend to go work. You know?
yeah, we turn to God family work, but I can tell you as an agent, it's hard, you gotta really think about putting those priorities in order.
That's my
Yeah.
main outlook now, but talking to her, she kind of gave me the whole story of everything. And how she runs her team, it's really just her side of the team. She works, I would say, less than a few hours during the day, and she's earned by like great money in that. And
And-
she's a high producer, and I was like.
And she's in Gary's top 100.
and she runs a nonprofit to help single women
Yeah.
get into homes. So she's pretty fantastic.
So she's gonna talk about family life. So, some of you I know need to like tone down the work a little bit and have a little more family time. So. All right, awesome. All right.
Yay.
I am super happy to introduce Nicole Scott. She's gonna talk about white glove experience, and we're talking about systems and models you need to make sure you give the great customer experience to your clients so they refer you and come back to you. So Nicole, welcome. Come on up.
I appreciate you guys taking the time. This year's gonna be killer, and so in order to have a killer year without losing our noggins, I'm gonna show you exactly what I do and how I manage multiple transactions. And I don't have my phone ringing constantly. So let's kind of jump into it. So I'll tell you kind of a little bit about me. I am the founder and owner of WGD. So I got really passionate in our industry. As an agent, you're constantly answering your phones and answering clients' questions, and you actually come from an approach of reactive, right? A lot of times our clients ask us questions before we're answering it. So I, as a mother, I built out systems and a business process to where my clients are informed about the next steps before they ever call me. And in turn, I can manage 5, 7, 13 transactions at a time. My phone's not going off the hook. My business is very level. My clients are very at ease. They know what to expect. They know I'm going to take care of them. They know I'm going to describe everything that's happening before they ask. Okay, so I meet their needs before they ask me about it. And I'm going to tell you exactly where I do it. And then that way, when you guys come into this next year, you can be more professional and get more referrals. Okay, so let's talk about email structure. So if you guys have pen and paper, you can write this down and I'll kind of break it all down.
Who needs a pen? Okay, Richard, just get him going.
I'll give you a-
Thank you. Pass them around, Rick.
So email is one of the wonderful communication tools that rarely we use as agents. But I will promise you that if you take the time and build these things out once, you won't have to do this again, okay? And it's gonna save you a lot of time. Those 15-minute phone calls on what is a prelim and who do I need to transfer my utilities to, they add up. And I promise you, your time is much more valuable to go out and network and build relationships with more clients and agents than it is to answer those little questions, right? So first things first, when you're doing your emails, this is organizational, okay? And it comes in the little details. You want to put
Hello,
your
this is Dennis.
what?
What?
Oh, Dennis isn't muted. Hold on.
Keeping you on your toes, Nicole.
Blackboard here. So I'll tell you guys the 3 categories I do for buyers and the 5 categories for sellers, okay? So for buyers, you're gonna have a pre-contract, under contract, pre-contract. And these are folders that I put on my desktop, okay? Under contract and after closing. And this is for your buyers. So with a buyer, it's very helpful to have an email that lists out in your referral to lenders what the pre-approval process looks like. I have a template for client portal. So when I send out my buyer intake form, I capture all their information, I fill out the portal, it's an easy template, I copy and paste, put it in my client portal, and then it shows how many bedrooms, bath, or all their amenities, okay? And then in contract, I'll tell you. And this is important because when your system and you're very like systemized and structured, there's more ease, right? And so a lot of times as agents, we get a prelim, we forward it over. We get disclosures, we forward it over. And clients are just like, okay, prelim, instructions, like, I don't know where, you know what I mean? Like, it's all over the place, right? So when you start into escrow, it's important to break down the timeline first and advise the clients, okay, so this is what our timeline looks like. You can build those out, just so you guys know, you can build out really pretty ones if you want on Canva, or you can be very simple. It doesn't really matter. It's just information that's important. And you can do that with just the email, right? So you just break down the contingency periods and escrow information, okay? So in my email, I always start out with property address and then escrow info. That's my number 1 email. Okay, my number 2 email is going to be property address. It's easy for people to research it back up, and it shows structure, professionals, and all that, right? So then it's timeline, okay, and inspection. Now also, and then I also do one for NHG prelim and disclosures. I bundle it all up. And I have little categories to break down each one, okay? In those emails, if you're gonna do the body, you want to break down the main points
And then you want to have a what's next section. So in that what's next, it's here's what we're reviewing. So like, here's a timeline. We're gonna schedule inspections. Here's a list of inspections. This is a CYA for you. As an agent, we typically just schedule, right? And then our clients have no idea that they could have gotten a pest or termite rodent, right? So it's important to disclose that because then nobody can say, oh, well, you never told me. Well, we did, and I'm showing it, you know, if you guys want this, this is what it costs, and this is what it looks like, right? So I tell my clients, and I'll tell you, when you set expectations like this, your schedule is much nicer. So in my what's next, I tell them, these are the inspections, let me know which ones you want. These are the times, Monday through Friday, 9 to 3. That allows me to control my schedule. That allows me to set that expectation, right? So you always do the main top and then the what's next. I also bundle my emails so they don't get overwhelmed. It's very 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, right. All right. So let's go to the next. Might know how to use this one.
I got it now, hold on. All right.
If you guys know the common questions in your industry, it's easier because then you keep notes and then you can answer. I'll tell you what the normal common questions that I received and what I built thus far, okay? Open escrow. First question, what do I do with my deposit? Where do I send it to, okay? I always disclose the escrow information to the clients. And I let them know I will send you a timeline within the next 24 to 48 hours for the next steps, okay? So there, you know, it takes that little breath off and you're not getting 50 million phone calls, okay? The timeline and when do we close? The timeline is beautiful because it allows them to get excited and see when they're about to get the keys, okay? So that's a common one, and the money for the inspections, okay? So I always list out the inspection. The what inspection should I get and when are they scheduled? So I break those down. I always, no matter what, I list all the inspections and I list the costs right next to them. Phone calls and texts are great. Emails are professional. I can't tell you how many times that I get to the closing of the transaction and I notice, even with the agents I help service, I notice the other parties always say, wow, it was so nice to work with such a professional group. We get paid well. We need to show up in different categories. What do they say in client experience and increased satisfaction? It's communication is core. Communication is what prevents this crazy domino effect, and it's what increases the client rating bands, the retention rate, gets you long-term business because they're not going to go to anyone else because nobody cares for them like you do. And shows up in that professional manner, right? We get paid well. We need to really show up in all avenues, okay? It's not, this stuff is not hard either. What do I need to bring to closings and when do I receive the funds? That's a common question. So right before, you know, there's like a week, it gets kind of quiet in real estate. And they know that, right? Your clients know that. And then right before escrow, or I give approaching escrow and I give them the closing details. I also do a service provider list, okay? That service provider list, you can pair it with a concierge service, but that service provider list gives them the utility information, the mailbox number, garage code, keys, who does the lawn service, pest work, and all that kind of stuff. So that way, when the buyer goes into the home, it's way less stressful. But guess what? They have everything they need in order to easily like transition into their home, okay? And I have the seller still list online. So it's not like me chasing this information, just so you guys know, I created it in drop form. So if you guys want to know where I build my questionnaires, through drop form. And it's free, under 5, okay? And I send this out to the sellers, they fill it out, I just transfer over the information. And guess what? At that foreign mailing address, like if you get mail, you know, and your clients always call you a week later, where do I put the mail to, or who do I get the mail to? It's already It's in that 40 mil address, and so it's one less question, one less phone call, okay?
Would you be willing to share that, the dot form questionnaire?
I provide it as a service, so this is what I do. So I'm more than happy to discuss later on. And do that, okay?
Thank you.
And I'll just let you guys know, a lot of passion in what I do in this industry. There's a big hole in our industry, and I don't think it's like really talked about as far as communication. And it ended up being one of those things where everyone's like, oh, what do I do? And so I just decided to create the service very similar to a TC. So it's not like it's out of, it's not like this crazy, you're paying $4,000 and tied to me. It's very, very affordable. And it makes a world of difference. My agents have a lot more free time now, and they can really focus on the relationship, not just being in the transaction that we tend to get sucked into. Or when we're super busy, all the little things kind of fall to the wayside. So, but you don't necessarily need to utilize me to do these things, right? So you can do all of this. It does take time to build it, but it's worth it. It's worth it. Okay, so the 1%. I'll tell you, I was in a transaction recently, and it was this, his name's Steven, and he did a deal with the CEO of Wells Fargo. And his expectations are pretty high. He used to be a commercial real estate agent, I think at Remax, actually. And he had high expectations. And I was telling Jay, I said, no, it's good for you, Jay, because he makes you be organized. And you're a great agent, but you're not an organized agent. And so there's a lot of different little details that you can provide to the consumers, especially the high-end clients, where they got their shit together. They're not just winging it, right? And so having the service provider list, sending all the disclosures in one email, having all the inspections sent to them in one email, that's the little things that makes the difference between you and 99% of the agents out there. And I'll tell you that right now. And that's where the repeat business comes in. So just a quick thing, a lot of things that I do that are above most people. Offer letter, I always do more. I talk about the client, I talk about breakdown of the term, I speak how they love about the home, and I always like carbon copy my clients because it's a feel good. They read it, they fall in love, they love what I say about them. It shows them that I'm listening, okay, and they're not just a transaction. For appraisal, everyone hopefully does this. For the listing side, I always thank the appraiser. I always send them an email for coming out, thanking them for coming out. I also include the feedback from the offers I received. I attach 2 things. The CMA, you can get a very basic version, the 2-line report off of your Metro list. And you just are gonna put it in DocuSign. You can put like 3 little categories of the 3 homes that you pulled, the differences between your home and other homes, and why you came out with the value you did. So I attach that. I also attach a property info and upgrade sheet. When I build a property info and upgrade sheet for my clients and for myself, that comes from a questionnaire that I sent out to my clients. But long story short, I help the appraiser fall in love with the home, and the buyers that walk through the home just like my seller fell in love with the house the very first time they walked through. So I disclose more things than what's just necessary on that Metro list, right? Sometimes there's a lot to a home that you can't possibly put in like 1,000 or whatever, 350 words, okay? So I always like to include that, so that way the appraiser knows how special that house is, okay? And why I'm asking for the value I am. We get paid to protect our clients' money. We need to do what we need to do in order to do that, right? And maximize their dollar, okay? So it's since then, and I will tell you, okay? This came from a hard lesson for me. I didn't do it in the beginning, and I ended up getting an appraiser who pulled from a couple random homes, and I was helping my brother and sister-in-law prep up their house. There's a house model match that sold, not as upgrade, and it sold for a certain dollar amount. when we got into escrow, the appraisal came in lower by $20,000. And it was an FHA, so it's 6, right? And so I told my brother and sister-in-law, they're like, oh my gosh, hold on, I'm like, look. Are you in touch with the other agent? We're not accepting this appraisal, we're gonna go back. We switched, went into contract with the conventional offer. I did exactly this. And I showed the appraiser why I was asking for what I was asking. I got my clients an extra 20,000. That's the difference between a 1% and 3%. Real quick. My clients, when they ask me why I charge the way I do, I said, because you pay extra 6, but I can promise you, you're gonna save an extra 15 or 20 with working, because I'm not gonna just give her home place. Okay, so I never have issues now. And I can't tell, like, just the other day, I sent this out and the appraiser called and goes, I've been in the industry 25 years, nobody does this. And I just FYI, like, thank you, and that's very professional. You do have your clients have something at heart. So those little things, right? And I like having a copy of the client. They need to see that, all that jazz. Service provider list. I listed it on there. Those are the little things that you can ask for that are really, really helpful for the next consumer. And then wondering if there's anything else. I think that's about it. Okay, how much time do we have? Do you ever?
5 minutes.
Sending that to the listing agent when you're representing a buyer or for their seller to fill that info out for you?
No.
Super cooperative.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's new,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I tell that here's one example. So one time my client, I was on the listing side and actually, the buyer failed to get everything transferred into our name. So my seller was upset one time, and all this stuff comes from mistakes, right? So my seller called me and goes, "Hi, I just got this bill. Why didn't the buyers transfer everything into their name?" And in that moment, that's when a listing agent's like, "Oh, well, like, why do I have to have my sellers?" It's because I'm trying to prevent a headache for you too, right? So the more smooth line and streamlined it is, and I can ensure we get all the info to them so they can get everything transferred in their name, the better. Proactive will always trump being reactive in our industry, and it will always make a difference on the consumer experience. So the results, right? So doing this, I love the Raven fans. Do you know that song I want to do?
Yep.
Okay. So in the industry, when you guys are growing and you're building teams, you show up like this, you're gonna gravitate. You're gonna have people who want to be like that, right? So it creates Raven fans. You build a strong brand reputation. I can't tell you, structure equals freedom of time, period. In the morning, when you know what you're gonna do, you go to the gym, you eat your whatever, and you're done by 9 o'clock, and you feel like you won the day. It's a 10 times better feeling than when you roll out of bed and you start beating yourself up because it's 2 o'clock and you really got in the shower. Okay? So it's just a different. It's just, becoming a professional. It feels fun. It feels amazing, and the confidence, especially with new agents, is it surpasses. I've taught this to my new agents, and I built the same systems for them. They walk out the gates like this guy. That is all I got. I appreciate you guys taking the time and.
Okay, so one thing, I want you to know, like, when we bring people talking luxury is the luxury agents and people that do high end and Wells Fargo CEOs and things like that is because they are very proactive and systemized with their communication. How many emails you send, how you communicate with your clients reflects on your professionalism. I love that detail. If you don't feel like pushing this button yourself, you can talk to Nicole, she can push the button for you.
It's nice to know it's important, interdisciplinary partners. We always talk about professional systems in your business, not.
Yes. And that's why we're in the club in 401, because the 401 is about working on your business, not in your business. Right? And the more you work on your business, the better your business will grow. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate your time. I know it's valuable. Have a great day. Go sell some homes.
Just to let everybody know, Cheryl Gomes from American Home Shield has lunch being delivered right now. She wasn't able to make it, so she orchestrated this.
So we'll have them shortly.
She texted me that it should be here pretty soon.
I think your slides all the time.
What?
Your slides are the best.
Oh, your team haven't.
Oh. Write that one.
I know.
I got Bruce cards with the glasses.
I